Yeah, so Floreo was started inspired by my son. My son's on the autism spectrum. He's 9 today, and he tried out virtual reality for the first time, really liked it. And the idea for using virtual reality as a treatment medium sprung from that. Okay, my name is Vijay Ravindran. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Floreo. Floreo uses virtual reality to create a system to help kids with autism, as well as adults, learn social and life skills. Started the company in my basement in my house, and started working on a prototype with an engineer that created a system that is really easy to use. We use commercial or consumer hardware virtual reality using a smartphone and a simple plastic headset holder. We stream a live view of what the child is seeing in VR to an iPad, which enables an adult to be able to coach the therapy session, as well as be able to record important data used for treatment. And we have a growing catalog of content that ranges from simple skill development like eye contact to helping kids calm down and regulate their senses if they're getting out of sync, and then to life situations. And one in particular that caught our attention as we were starting the company was this unfortunate incident where the police was called on an adult with autism who was holding a toy train, and a social worker was trying to help that adult, but the police interpreted the toy train as a gun and ended up shooting the social worker. Families spend so much time and energy helping a child develop skills to gain independence, but then they're very fearful that if they have a law enforcement encounter, that their child will not be able to handle those situations in a safe manner. And so from that sprung the idea that could we use Floreo to create a lesson for people on the autism spectrum on how to communicate with a law enforcement official. I think when I started the company, I definitely had a vision in my mind of using traditional venture capital to build the funding needed to get the product to market. And we were in mid-fundraising, raising money with commitments when we started the application process. The way we've looked at SBIRs is that these grant programs are excellent for creating meaningful research partnerships to test the effectiveness of what you're building. That the SBIR program is open-ended enough that you can structure the project proposals in a manner that benefits both your research partner and you commercially and what you're trying to build out, and that it's a really efficient way for you to fund that research rather than using dollars from investors. And so we have continued to raise venture capital to build our marketing budget, hire a sales team, be able to create features in our app that we know are needed for building commercial viability. But for the core therapy content that we're developing for people with autism, we see the SBIR program as a great way of funding, building that content, researching that it's effective, and in turn creating really deep partnerships with research institutions, which then lead to having a soft marketing effect of having that relationship in place when we go talk to potential customers. Yeah, look, I think applying for an SBIR does take significant time, so you don't do it on a whim. You need to put a lot of materials together, and the materials you put together are very different than what you would if you're trying to raise venture funding or create a more classical business plan. It's also, in our case, we were working hand in hand with researchers at Children's Hospital Philadelphia, so you're also coordinating and creating those materials with academics, and they work at a certain pace and a certain style, and they might want to take the research in a certain direction, and you have to manage that, and so it's work. I think the other really important thing for everyone to understand is that winning an SBIR is hard. And so we went in it eyes wide open, and we got great advice from a trusted advisor that said, look, you might only have a 5 to 10% chance of winning this particular award. But if you go through it, you're lucky enough to get scored, lucky enough to get reviewer feedback, you'll be well positioned to reapply and and win future grants. And that experience, as well as the actual content you develop as part of the research process, can then be used over and over again. That was our attitude going in. We had applied for a phase 1 SBIR within the Department of Education on our own with no research partner about 6 months prior to this application. We didn't get it. We got scored, but didn't make the cutoff. But we learned a little bit about what we needed, including the value of having a research partner writing it with us. And so when we did it the next time, we were much better equipped. We still didn't think, we had particularly high odds. But lo and behold, on our first NIH grant, we did make the funding score line and was awarded a notice of award. But the benefits far outweigh the costs because we've been able to extend our startup runway by many, many months using the funds that we've been able to derive. We've been able to offset meaningful product development costs and not have to use our capital that raised through venture financing for that effort. And the soft value of having the NIH and Children's Hospital Philadelphia and published papers now and academic presentations are gigantic for us as an early stage business. We can basically trade to some extent when we're in the room with a school or an autism therapy clinic. We come in with all that the NIH brand and Children's Hospital Philadelphia also convey, which ends up being a lot. And so the grant program has been vital for us to get to the next stage.